Hi, welcome to How to Make Digital Layered Paint Look More Realistic, a tutorial for digital scrapbookers and other hybrid artists. I'm Dawn Varillas of Dawn by Design at dawnbydesignstore.com. The supplies you will need today are Photoshop Elements or Photoshop and a digital scrapbooking project that has both paint and dimensional objects. My supplies are Photoshop Elements 11 and the Be Proud product preview for a kit that I recently released. The steps are to open your layered file, place your paint directly above a dimensional object, duplicate that paint, and move that copy directly below the dimensional object. Then clip the original paint layer to your dimensional object. 2 pro tips for you today are 1, to cut out a thin strip from the paint copy layer, and then 2, to rough up the edges of your paint. Let's see what that looks like now. Here is my product preview with several elements missing so that we could see the actual stamp area that I'm working with, which is here, this paint stamp that says Proud. You can see that it's layered above a journal card. And since I've layered it overlapping the journal card, I want that paint to look a little more realistic. It wouldn't just be how it is currently, flat, above that dimensional object. I'm going to handle this by making a copy of my paint layer, shortcut Command J or Control J. If you want to work from your menus, you would go to Layer, Duplicate Layer. Now grab that copy layer and move it directly under the dimensional object, in my case, the journal card. Your next step, go back to the original paint layer, activate it, and clip it to the layer beneath. The keyboard shortcut is Command Control G, or you go to Layer, Create Clipping Mask if you're working from your menu. And there you have it, an immediate quick tip for making your layered paint look more realistic. Now the first pro tip I want to show you is to cut out a thin strip from the paint on the bottom layer. This will help your paint look like what happens when your sponge or your paintbrush catches the edge of the dimensional object and doesn't quite make immediate contact with your base layer. Here's how I'm going to do that. Make a selection of the dimensional object layer by choosing Command or Control and then clicking on the thumbnail for the object layer, your dimensional object, in my case, the journal card. Now I want to expand that selection a little bit. So with the marching ants going, I'm going to my menu, choose Select, Modify, Expand, and choose anywhere from 5 to 20 pixels. I'm going to go with 10 today. Now my selection has expanded, and making sure that the copy layer of my paint is active, I'm going to cut it out. Your keyboard shortcut is Command or Control X. Your menu is Edit and Cut. And you can see where that simulates the look of your paintbrush not making immediate contact with your base paper layer. But my next tip is to make even this look a little more realistic. You can see the area that got cut out is very sharp, the edge is very clean, but that wouldn't necessarily happen if we're painting. So what I'm going to do is use the eraser tool to rough it up a bit, those edges. So in Photoshop Elements, in the tool options for eraser, I've got the rough round bristle tip chosen. And with the bottom layer activated, I'm just going to rough up the edges of it a little bit. And then I'm going to my original paint layer. Let's do a little bit more. My opacity was low, a little bit low. I think I would have liked the opacity at 100 even better. And then go back to your original paint layer and rough that edge up as well. And there you have it. 3 quick tips for making your layered digital paint look more realistic. Thank you for joining me today. If you're watching from YouTube, you can find relevant links in the comments.